Right, so people, you just watched me, well, you watched a few clips of me doing my one-to-ones. Obviously, each one-to-one's different, although, you know, we're going to the same sort of premises. But, so there's one last question I'm going to ask Matt, because I think we've kind of got the same idea on this, but I think it'd be interesting to hear his point. What do you think makes one-to-ones work so well?
Well, it's personal, isn't it? So, in a class environment or a group environment, it's more generic. So you're looking at a certain aspect that may be for everybody to improve. Whereas, firstly, on a one-to-one, it's sort of that personal touch. So you get specific feedback. All the attention's on you, and obviously, we can identify specific techniques or movements that suit you. It may be in a class that is something that you've worked on by yourself over the week, but because it's the better thing to work on for the class, you end up working it again, which isn't always a bad thing, but I think definitely
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's a more intense environment on a one-to-one. In some ways, it's more relaxing as well, but that sort of the focus is solely on you. It's a bit like being in the cage, I guess. It's just you and them. So yeah, it puts you into that place where you can really put a game plan together. Also, it opens up for specific analysis training, so we can sit and watch videos of your opponents fighting and pick out their weaknesses. We can SWOT analyse, you know, and identify opportunities that we can score and potentially knock out your opponent. So, yeah.
Not that I might do that in ultra MMA, but
I'm gonna do it anyway.
I am.
We'll take the disqualification on the chin if you get to knock someone out for it.
Yeah, if I knock them out, it's their fault for not blocking.
Well,
that's how I look at it.
You can't get disqualified for that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So Matt kind of touched on it. There's three things I think personally, and I'm sure Matt will agree with these, that make a one-to-one work really well. Is the chemistry. As you can see, me and Matt have a laugh and a banter together. And when we first spoke, you know, I said to Matt, look, I'm training, I want to get in the cage. So he altered the training, because he could be teaching me kickboxing, because that's obviously the main thing you teach. But instead you'll teach me MMA kind of stuff, so the knee, granted I don't do knees and elbows much, but I know how to do them, they're there. I've got them in my arsenal when it comes to, if I get further on and past the Ultra MMA event.
Which is why we applied the progression of knee at the end of our, so today was all about progressions. Started with a jab with slip movement, added on the return strikes, then we added the legs into it, hence the kickboxing, but then we also added the CQC with knees at the end. So yeah, we're building you up towards the future as well.
Yes, that's what I mean.
A long game plan.
Long game plan, yeah, the chemistry. And you know, it's funny enough, this is going to be a post on YouTube. Obviously Matt knows a lot about my YouTube channel, he's giving me ideas. So the chemistry is one of the most important things. I think if you've got that stubbornness, or you're a bit with your coach, like if me and Matt are a bit at each other's throats, it ain't going to work, because you're not going to listen, you're not going to train as hard. It works so much better when, you know.
And ultimately then the quality, so when you're one-to-one, obviously it's more expensive than your regular training, and that can work both ways. It can be great value for money if you really accelerate and become the best version of yourself. You get in the cage, spark your opponent outside the first round, and I'm just sat there going, okay. Whereas if you paid up one-to-one training and you weren't getting that much out of it, really you're just throwing money away. So it's about value.
Yeah. And then second of all, it's about pushing yourself and being pushed. So what I mean by that is, as you know from the MMA series, I've been on a fight camp, still am now, and I think it's about 2 weeks ago you said we had to do a run as far as we can. Now, I know running is one of my things I'm not particularly, well, fuck it, shouldn't swear, it's YouTube. Running is one of the things I can say I'm pretty good at. I can run for a while without getting tired, I can run pretty decent speed. And we got told to run as far as we can. So I didn't have to, but I done a 15k in under 2 hours without stopping. I think that was the highest
run
of that
highest,
week.
Yeah.
There you go.
You won by 3.5k.
That's what I mean. So you got to push yourself. I didn't have to do 15k. I probably could have done 10k and still.
You would have got away with a 5k because I think the lowest run was 2.5.
Oh, well, there you go.
You literally beat that by like a ridiculous amount, like 5-6 times the amount.
Well, there you go. That's what I mean. It's a point proven. I pushed myself. I didn't have to do 15k. I could have, like Matt said, done a 5k and still probably been on top. But it's all about pushing yourself. And it's same with the coach. You've got to find a coach that's going to push yourself. Obviously, we started to do my fight camp for the MMA, but obviously it got dropped because of the whole lockdown and all that shit. But I'm sure when we get closer to the fight, I know Matt will back this up right now, is nearer the fight, I'm sure you're going to hit me with some nasty shots.
It's all love though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You need to be conditioned to go in there. I'm not going to kill you, but it's going. Yeah, we need to get a little bit rougher with the sparring, because ultimately your body will react to what you're accustomed to. If you go in the cage and you haven't ever had a tough sparring session, as soon as you get clubbed with a hard hit, your body's going to go, oh my, go into shock, and all the training goes out the window. Yeah. Whereas if you're used to having a bit of a good smash up in sparring, you'll go in, someone hits you, and you'll go straight into that zone which you're used to in sparring, and then obviously that just naturally comes out of you.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Pushing and being pushed. And that's not saying obviously you hit me in sparring when we have sparred. You've dropped me a few times in sparring with the sweeps and whatnot. You know, but I'm sure, like I said, nearer the time, I'm sure you'll hit me with much harder shots. And like Matt said, it's not to be a dick or anything, it's just to literally, so I get used to it, because when I step in that cage, that's what they're going to hit me with, power shots, or try to.
Your opponent's going to try and
unless I block it or dodge, or get them first. So I need to get used to it. So that's why I'm saying about push yourself as well, because I push myself in my own time. Another example is when we got asked, I was put in Hunt Troop, which is like an elimination thing, and we had to do 4 minutes, most press-ups we could do in 4 minutes.
101.
And I managed to push myself to 101 and come joint first with another very strong competitor in the fight camp. So that's what I mean, push yourself. If you ain't got the will to push yourself, where is it? It's on the wall somewhere, I've got it here. There it is, very tanned out, you can't see it, but I've got a saying on the wall here: success belongs to those who are willing to work harder than anyone else. That's one of the many sayings I've got on my wall that I truly believe in. If you don't push yourself and work hard, it ain't gonna happen.
And then your work rate is one thing that nobody can ever question. You are a grafter.
I try. Well, it's work. And then, it's funny you say that, leads me on to my third point. Don't go to one-to-ones thinking you're going to learn all the fancy stuff. So what I mean by that is, I'll show you a quick example. That was a quick example. So one-to-ones, you know, you'll learn the more basic kind of punches and movement of flow. Well, depending on what you're doing. Obviously, probably the same in boxing and I will imagine and Muay Thai, but don't go to one-to-ones thinking you're going to learn. Kind of missed that, but you get the point. That sort of shit. Because you won't learn that in one-to-ones.
Ironically, you did actually pull the spin back kick out in one of the combos today. But that's, you know, we've been doing this
months.
Yeah, we've been doing this a long time now. So
that's what I mean. So you go to don't go to one thing. You're gonna hit shit like that I just done. I know I missed the target, but you get the point.
But you still hit the rib. I'd say that would be a nasty shot if it landed, even if it grazes through that floating rib. That's a nasty shot to take.
You know, and obviously Matt showed me the basic of that kit, but that's something I've just done in my own time, just literally practiced my own time. Matt can verify that because he's seen my posts on Facebook. I post a lot of things on Facebook when it comes to kickboxing, and you know, Matt's seen it himself. I just, in my own time, punch bags, practice my own, practice spinning kits. But as you see, most of the one-to-ones we do, about 1,000 times, about 1,000 now, I must be 900,000 times. I've stand there and literally, Matt can testify this. I've stand there and just literally practice, as you saw in today's session, the basic, not that, the basic ducking, weaving, in and out, and that's the sort of stuff you will learn in basics. You need to. That's how people like Conor McGregor, you know, the current middleweight champion, all the top people in the UFC do. They learn the basics, do it over and over, and then they apply the more advanced stuff. But you know, so that's the kind of things I would say. Expect for one-to-ones to work is you need the chemistry with your coach. Like I said, me and Matt, even outside of training, I've texted Matt about stuff in his own time when we've chatted about other stuff than just training. You need to push yourself and be willing to be pushed, because like I said, near the time I'm sure Matt will get me doing all sorts of fitness tests and hitting me with some nasty rib shots and head shots. It's all part of the training. And don't go to one-to-ones thinking you're going to learn all the fancy spinning kicks and all that sort of stuff. You learn the basics, that's how you get good. So with that being said, that's been this week's MMA series video, because that's replacing the one I was going to post this week. you will see Matt again hopefully next month when we do the MMA podcast, which should be a very interesting one because we will do live demonstrations. What I mean by that is we won't be, you know, grabbing each other for the jiu-jitsu, for example, but we'll be in this area like we are now, and we'll be standing face to face and showing you like K1 and all that sort of stuff, like full con.
With some nice new mats, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. So that's the next one. G-Man's looking forward to it as well. So I'm an Inspiration 8, and I will catch you on the other side. Peace. Bye.